And so I'm just putting in this new color, this new value. Into the first muffin's paper crinkles. So I'm trying to be careful. Got a big brush for this. And this is just, again, the first pass of the shadow on the muffin paper. Looks to me like from the reference that it goes all the way around the muffin. The other thing that's happening is, and we're going to be, and I think this was Sylvia's idea about painting shadows and folds in clothing, drapery, and same thing with these muffins. I'm looking at where's the shadow falling in these paper crinkles, and I should be more careful than I am being about that. So you see how the light's on one side of the paper and not on the other. So this brush has got is damp, and I'm just softening some of these edges. Some color, some more purple into the color while it's still damp, a little bit, but a little bit will go a long way. And that's actually the jam coming out. Now I'm going to take this reddish, add a little blue to it, and I'm going to use that same color to put in the first brightest pass of the blueberry color in the muffin. So, and I'm going to leave out the, it needs to be a light value, not very much, not a very intense color. So it's a lot of water in this, and I'm leaving out the white highlight paper. I want that to stay white. And I'm just painting in this local color of the jam that's spreading over the muffin. And I'm leaving sparkle. There's quite a bit of sparkle in the reference photo, so whatever you can do to suggest it. The light is coming right at it. It means the light is hitting it directly there. And over here, there's some more of that. And if you don't see sparkle in your reference, go ahead and put some in anyway, just because it would be there. And that's my first pass at the blueberry color. And then it comes down the side of the paper. I'm going to look for sparkle and try to preserve it. Glad somebody mentioned this sparkle issue. And the jam comes up here. And it doesn't have to do exactly what your reference does, but it just needs to be there. And this is in addition to the form shadow that's on the cupcake because of the light. So, and we're going to use this light tone for blueberry here. And we got some sparkle in here, some blueberry right up against the edge. We got messy blueberry jam all along here where I drew this line. And it's the first pass. Now we've got the big blueberry in its entire, I should cover up some of this white because sparkle is best used in little doses. There's even sparkle in this little piece right here. And then there's sparkle over here. It's actually a different color. So I'm going to add, it's a little more red purple. And I'm just picked some of that up in my brush. And then here is a big old fat blueberry. We're going to have fun darkening the value on this because it's such a big form, it's going to have deeper shadow than some of these other sections of blueberry. And it comes out like that. So we're drawing with a brush here. And now I'm going back to I borrowed this blueberry from the other muffin that's actually not in our picture. And then this one is in our picture, and it goes all the way to the edge of the cup. And it's a crazy little shape. These are all just little shapes. And the first pass at them. Okay, and it's an important part. That local color is an important part. It sets the tone, sets everything. Now I want to go back to the yellow side of the paper cup. And I want to create a nice warm, almost a brown yellow for the side of the paper cup that's in shadow. And how do we make a pretty brown? Well, blue, purple, and yellow make a beautiful brown. Perfect for our cupcake. So we're going to, believe it or not, so we're going to add some blue, because I need it for to create my blue purple. And now I'm going to add some purple. A little more blue. I'm using, look what a big brush I'm using. And I'm going to move it into the, there's not enough purple in it for, all right, now I'm moving the blue purple into the yellow and getting a brown. I don't know if you can see how it looks, starting to look like brown. Actually, it's looking a lot like the cupcake paper. And this is, again, a light value, 20%. And I'm going to put this wherever I had my little pencil marks showing me where the value was. So I'm coming down this, oh, it's pretty intense. I'm coming down the sides. I'm streaking it where the side of the crinkled paper is turning away from the light, because it's just these rolls of paper. And I noticed that it's on the outside of the cupcake cup, but it's not on the inside, strangely. I don't know why that's the case. And it's not the whole length of the cupcake cup either, but it is on this side, that's a shadow side. It's all this. So I can paint all of it, this odd brown. I'm going to put some more orange in there to make it even browner. I went in and picked up a little orange. And there's not any shadow on the lip of the cup after the blueberry jam on the far left side of the cup either. It's just on the shadow section, shadowed side of the cup. It's all in shadow. There's a little sparkle from highlights hitting the jam, and that's it. And there's some light value in the muffin itself, but that's it. And then the shadows start to settle down, and it doesn't. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put the same brownish color with a little orange. I'm picking up a little orange over here in the other side of the cup too, because I really wanted this to be a warmer hue. And I've got to watch out for the paper shapes of the cup in front. Okay, now we're not done with these cupcake shadows, and as Gail pointed out, this will dry lighter. So it's going to be, we still have more shadows to put in these papers, but we've got the underpainting built for it. And now I'm going to use this little round brush that's damp. It's got clean water in it, and I'm going to just soften some of these edges that I just put in so it's not so hard edged. Here too. And I could drop a little more orange in here too. Warm it up. All right, so now it's time, while this is all drying, it's time to paint more of the cake. And so I'm going to get a smaller brush. So this is I'm dropping down to the size 12 synthetic Escoda brush. And I'm going to think about the color of the muffin inside. And this is obviously going to be a brown that we're going to create. I spend most of the time in this palette just trying to find the right color and saturation and value that I'm going to bring in. And so that's part of it. And then to get my brown, I'm going to add a little cadmium scarlet, warm it up. I'm just sort of guessing, finding my way. And I'm going to put some blue off here to the side. But I don't want a lot of blue. I'm trying to get that golden baked food color. Makes us hungry. I don't think that's quite right either. So let me bring it in here. Bring it into the purple. See, I'm just always kind of going back and forth between warm sections and cool sections and looking for that color. Could use some cadmium scarlet again. Maybe some alizarin crimson. I'm just trying to feel my way to that golden crusty color. All right, I'm going to try it, and I've got to remind myself which cupcake I'm working on. So I'm going to have this brush ready with water, and I'm touching it to my sponge so I can soften edges with this. And I'm going to go into this first cup and hope this is a good color. So leave white. I mean, it's not white anymore. It's kind of a soft tan color, but I'm trying to create some texture with it. I know you guys are doing this sort of thing all the time with your painting. I'm going to bring the cupcake all the way to the... These are flutes. That's what that part of the paper is called. I remember that. Still trying to find that color. I'm using more paint, more pigment to create a darker value, and I'm trying to sculpt out the shadow form. I'm painting around the paper. And now I can dry brush a little bit too. So I'm turning the brush sideways, and I'm just sort of creating that baked texture. Okay, so I'll leave that one there. I think we can use quite a bit more value on this side. I'm adding some of that red to the tone. A little wet into wet. And the light is coming this way, so most of my deeper tones are going to be on this side. Let's go into our blueberries now. I'm going to have to create a nice purple color. Here's some purple I already had mixed up. I'm using ultramarine blue in this purple color that I don't even know what it is. It's just a kind of a reddish purple. I'm creating my own blue purple, which is kind of the color of blueberries. a lot of plants and flowers are that color. So I'm not sure if this will be my ultimate dark value of purple, of blue purple, but we need some dark value of it. So let's put some in there. I'm going to just remember that it's the light that's falling on these forms that's giving us the darker values. So I'm going to paint around the highlight a little bit. I'm leaving some highlights and I'm painting the dark blueberry over the underpainting in other sections. And even, and then going down. And that blue, remember that berry jam was coming all the way down the side of the cup. And this here too on this side. So we're just painting here and there this darker value of the blue. It's okay that it's running into the damp orange from a minute ago and feathering out. That's what baking does, right? It just mixes things up, and then there's quite a bit of dark on that side. And here too, lots of deep, and this is not nearly the deep color that we ultimately need, but it's a start. And let's see, this jam goes down the side of the cup. Make it intense enough and reddish enough to be believable. God, that pencil line that I drew just completely sucked up all the color, and it looks like the Grand Canyon. It's huge, huge mark. We're going to soften some of these edges because these are mostly kind of softened edges in here. Along the paper, because most of this jam is inside the paper, not outside, so we're seeing through to it. And here there's this jam here, and then right about here is where the jam part stops along the paper rim, and the rest of it is just cupcake paper shadow. And then I'm going to put this deeper blue inside on the cupcake, and I'm trying to see where the paper is too. So I have a demarcation between paper and muffin. Okay. And grabbing more and more pigment to get a darker value where I need it. And leaving white paper for sparkle of the jam. The viewer will invent so much of this for you. So all you've got to do is just get the general idea and get the values and colors right and basic shapes. And then the viewer is going to make his own muffin out of this. And that's the magic of painting, is that you don't have to say everything. You just get them started. Just suggest it. And then human imagination will take it from there. Fill in all those gaps. And now this is the big juicy blueberry. Most of the berry is a dark value. So this is on the way to a dark value. It's a mid-tone. And I'm leaving some of that original color in there, uncovered, so that we got a whole range of different versions and values of that blue-purple happening. And that gives the viewer something to do to sort of decipher all this and make it his own. So. All right, that's my next pass on the blue. It's not nearly dark enough to be my ultimate blue, but it was a start. My next job is to put better shadows on the, not better, just more shadow on the cupcake flutes of the paper. I've got the local shadow color, and now I just got a sort of a, and we're going to quit here in just a minute. I've got to find the right kind of brown for my cupcake. It's mostly, it's kind of a brownish yellow. So and I need a lot of pigment with it to make it stand out from the dark value that's already there. And I might require some blue and blue purple to take this yellow and get it the darker. I'm getting there. I can feel myself sneaking up on it. All right, so now when I put this in, I'm going to be doing the stripes of the cup that are in shadow, and that is closer to the kind of shadow I want. So I'm sort of just soften some of these edges. Covering over even the blue jam that I put, because it's all part of the mix. It's all part of the color in the shadow. And I'm trying to color the form of the folded paper, the fluted paper. Not doing a great job with it, but I think you get that idea. But I really wanted to leave a lot of the yellow, or pristine, bright yellow paper that's being shot through like a Japanese paper lantern with the light. There is a little shadow in the on the inside of the paper cup, but it's not as warm. I notice it's a cooler. It's like a grayed yellow. So I'm changed my color a little bit, and I'm going in and I'm doing a little of that in those few places where there's visible shadow. Now, I've got two things left to do, and one is to sort of finish off the texture of the muffin as best I can with some warm golden baked color. And then I've got to put some super dark highlights in the muffin jam, dark sections in the blueberry, and then make those highlights pop out a little more. And then we'll have to call it quits. The background paper, the background wood that's sitting on the cutting board, I'll leave that to your imagination, or you can put them on a tray or something else. So let's finish our texture of the cupcakes. I'm back to a bigger brush, and now I've got to get some nice warm color here for that, for the muffin. Golden baked. And less water, more pigment at this stage. This is we've gone from light to dark, and I'm going to try a few sections, and a lot of it's just to break up monotonous space and create contrast where I can. I can create some contrast along the edges where there's more shadow, and then I can use this brush to soften some of these edges. So it all looks kind of gradual and natural. Same thing with this one. This one doesn't have quite as much crust on it, the cake. So I need to not overdo it. But there is certainly, along the edges where it rolls out of away from the light, there is darker value. And there's try some dry brushing here. We covered dry brushing in class, I think, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah. Yeah, there's could be a little more texture. And it never hurts to change up the colors a little bit as you're doing creative stuff. Wherever you see form in the muffin dropping away from the light, that's where these darker values go, right? So where would they be? I think that's plenty of texture for now in the cupcake. And now I'm going to create the deepest, bluest, purplest, blue-black value of the blueberry, and we'll stop. So I'm putting an ultramarine blue, purple, red, purple, I'm just trying to get the right color and the deep color. Almost black, not so much pigment that it's almost black is the goal here, I think. And let's see how to play it. First of all, on the big fat blueberry, it's right here where the part of the berry that falls away from the shadow. So we're going to go in pretty strong with it. It really kind of covers this whole side. It's actually more purple in the photo than I've got it, but there. It's pretty dark. And back here, it's dark. It looks like it's dark, kind of in here and along the. And then here, it's pretty dark. So I'm just going to drop it in to get the most impact and make it. I'm just using almost pure pigment, almost like right out of the tube, except it would be a couple different tubes because it's a mixture of colors. And it's real dark along the paper edge, I noticed. It's shadow. It's this substance, this blueberry, fructose in shadow. And I'll put most of the dark along the ridge of the muffin. So it's almost like painting canyon walls or a creek between hills, sort of. And same here. This muffin, there was a lot of dark along the south rim here of the canyon, the bread canyon. But what's giving it interest is that we've got all these different values and shades of this color happening in this little section of jam. We're creating, by doing that, we're creating a sense of volume and dimensionality, depth. And then the blue is quite dark here and it goes all the way down the side, and it should even be darker. That's almost too bright a blue for a shadow color. So let me gray it up with some orange, because we're not going to get bright colors like that in a shadow. We want a shadow that's flavored by the blue, but mostly, but this is a big mess over here, so. Well, I know you guys get the idea of this sort of painting. I'm going to stop here. I think when I look at it in the morning, I might deepen the shadow along the cupcake rim here and the flutes. and maybe a little bit over here, but I don't want to go too dark with it. It's a light baked good.